All right, everybody, welcome to the February feature. My name's Hunter Willis, and the feature, of course, is where we talk about what's new and what's coming with our products here at Aptio. We're going to be talking about Aptia One product family. We've got some updates for Cloudability to go over, as well as some updates for target process. And then we've got a really great conversation with Bala Kaliamurthy that we're going to be popping over to here in just a few minutes, talking about some of the new information for Cloudability. So let's dive right into the details here. For Aptia One, we've got data link cancel connections. When you establish a connection and data link with Aptia One, you no longer have to wait for that data link to finish processing in order to cancel it out, right? So once that connection gets going, you can cancel it out right away if you made an error or there's something different you want to do with that. There's also some robust features added to filtering in Aptia One, right? So search bar in the event log, as well as line item filters that have come out there, and there's also on the way here before the end of Q1 integrated project expense planning, where we just basically make it a lot easier to understand project related costs, budget line items, and labor and resources in Aptia One. And again, that's on its way right around the end of Q1 here. So for the Cloudability product family, we've got compound filtering and Cloudability views that are available in Aptio BI. So talked about this a little bit last month with Sammy and got some details on that, but basically there's a lot more information from Cloudability that's available now in Aptio BI. So you can take that information, trim it, combine it with information from other platforms in the Aptio BI solution, and share that out as trimmed and secure reports with your team. And there's a lot more coming with Aptio BI, so keep on the lookout for that as well. Now, for GCP right sizing updates, we've made some updates to GCP right sizing recommendations. So when you make that, when you basically import that information from Google Cloud Platform, you no longer have to wait for a few days. In order for that information to be surfaced, it'll surface right the next day after you make the connection, right? So we basically have rapidly sped up the time that you can get recommendations for right sizing for the Google Cloud Platform. Now we've got a couple of blog posts that have come out this month as well. Most recently, we did a innovation recap for Cloudability for 2021, focusing on all the major updates that have come out for Cloudability. We've also got updates to savings plan recommendations and an added ability to filter right-sizing results using key tags and values in Cloudability. On the horizon, direct download of exports is going to be coming out here in a couple of weeks. We've also got recommendations for auto-scaling groups. And those two things we're going to be talking about with Bala and the significance of those as well. And then in Cloudability SaaS, there's a new user experience that's going to be coming, bringing Cloudability SaaS more in line with the rest of the experience for Aptio's products. Now, jumping into what's new with target process. We've got an update to the Jira integration where you can connect target process to multiple Jira instances now instead of one. Definitely realizing that a lot of organizations, especially larger organizations, have multiple Jira instances for different purposes and different teams. And so that'll bring target process more in line to being able to meet the needs of our customers in that way. Now, you can rename the teams basically area in the UI, right? So from within the terms interface of target process, instead of having to just have the name teams for your different clusters of users that are doing different tasks and things, you can rename that to be in line with your organization. And then the last thing is really, really great. We've got now a streaming service from data from target process. So any application that supports REST connectors, really easy to be able to make that happen with target process now. To especially when you have custom solutions or you're trying to pull that data out of the platform. And again, like I mentioned, we got some more blog posts out. We have an article in DevOps.com and a new blog post on our blog, so check that out. We should be sharing those links with this broadcast here as well. And then on the horizon, sync validation rules. And there's a IDG white paper that's going to be coming out for target process as well. Now, we're going to hop over. We had a great conversation with Bala here about the recent and updates that are on the way for Cloudability. So we're going to go ahead and hop into that conversation now with Bala Kaliamurthy, Principal Product Manager for Cloudability. All right, great. Bala, thank you so much again for your time today and for doing this here. Bala is the senior product manager for Cloudability. So Bala, tell us a little bit about what you do at Aptio and what is coming up with Cloudability that's new, man.
Sure, Hunter. As you said, Bala Kaliamurthy. I'm actually a product manager within the Cloudability suite of product. I do actually own the container cost allocation pipeline, anomalies, and the overall data pipeline. So it all falls under my ownership. So that's where I actually come into picture today, talk about what's released and what's gonna release in the next few weeks. So based on the last few weeks, if I look into the capabilities that we launched, I would say we did make some enhancements or more about feature capabilities in Aptia BI for the Cloudability data source. There were two launches that happened last month. One is actually the compound filtering. So right now, with the data that's existing in Aptio BI, customers should be able to create filters that's based on and/or. And also last week or 2 weeks back, we announced the support for views. So customers should now be able to use the views capability that existed in Cloudability in Aptio BI as well. So those were two new launches that happened the last few weeks, Hunter.
That's fantastic.
Yep. Should I talk about what's coming in the next few weeks too?
Yeah, that'd be great if you can give us a little bit of a highlight on what's new and what's coming and what's coming down the pipe.
Sure. We have a few upcoming releases. The first one will be the Kubernetes 1.22 support. So right now, container cost allocation supports Kubernetes version until 1.21. We have few cloud service providers who have announced the GA for Kubernetes 1.22. So part of that, our container cost allocation pipeline would be supporting, the first one would be the AKS, the Azure Kubernetes service. That's going to release in, I would say, a week or two. That's going to be the first launch. Then we also have some enhancements to the report export capability. That's coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So what's that is we pretty much are eliminating the email workflow. So if customers go to the reports in our actually Cloudability platform and want to export, the current workflow is they would generate or click on the export button and email would then come through to their inbox with a download link. So this enhancement is going to eliminate the email workflow. What that means is when they now actually, after this feature is announced or launched, if they go to the reports page and they click on the export, it's more of the download happening in the browser itself. There would also be a status indicator for the download, kind of indicating when the download, the status of the download. And if there's an error or if there's an issue with the download, you also get a user-friendly error message. So there are some enhancements happening to that capability. That's going to launch in the next few weeks as well. We do actually, so right now we have a limitation on the size of the reports. And right now, if you do need to download or export a report, I think the limitation is 64K rows. And there is work in the pipeline, in the roadmap. And then I wouldn't say the next few weeks, but around Q2, there's going to be a phase 2 enhancement to the export capability. And that would eliminate the 64K rows. So I just want to make it clear.
Well, I was going to say that's really important when you have so many rows of cloud billing that you're trying to ingest and study and analyze, right? And sounds like it's going to make it a lot easier for customers to be able to just pull their information directly out of the solution without having to wait for an email to go through, give them a little bit more control about how and where they're pulling that information, right?
That's right.
So Bala, I know that we've had a few other updates to containers here in the past 6 months, but can you kind of highlight some of those capabilities that we've added here in the recent past and some of the great things that we do with the containers as far as the platform goes?
Sure. I would say we have been making a lot of progress in the backend pipeline related to how we do the overall container cost allocation, the math behind it. And we introduced the pod right sizing capabilities in the last 6 to 8 months. That's another capability which a lot of customers have been asking for, and we are planning to do more enhancements on the existing pod right sizing. As well as there is also the cluster right sizing capability that I'm excited about, which is going to be sometime this year.
That's
And
great.
yeah, and I'll also say, we have a lot of investments in containers this year, which means we are introducing support for like OpenShift, EKS Fargate, and then there's going to be a Prometheus integration. What that means is literally customers don't need to leverage our open source metrics agent. Rather, they could use the Prometheus, or I would say our container pipeline, the platform, would collect the usage information if they are running Prometheus. So there is a lot of different, I would say, major features that's set up for release this year. So I'm honestly like, from a product manager owning the container pipeline, I feel we have a very matured platform. What I mean by that is our container cost allocation capability is pretty tight. On top of it, we also give customers the leverage to create reports across their shared resources, not just containers, right? If they want to create a report in the Cloudability platform that kind of like, let's say, is specific to a business unit or an application, and if that application has a lot of shared resources like a database and storage, they could have one unified report where it would show both the container or the cluster cost along with the shared resource cost. So that's another capability that a lot of customers really like in our platform from a container perspective. I can just talk a lot about our features.
No, it's great. No, you're absolutely right, man. And it's fantastic. I think that the thing I love about it is that when I go in and I look at the recommendations and the reporting that we have for the container information, it's not this giant complicated spreadsheet that you have to go and like figure out what it does. It's very, it'll pop it open. It'll show you a graphic representation of your clusters and what they look like and, what your spend is. And it's all right there. And I love it. And my favorite thing about that is that it demos really well. So it's easy to have those conversations. So,
sure.
So thank you so much for all that work. And it's great to see your passion and enthusiasm for it, man. And, yeah, but we look forward to having you back again to talk more about, those features that are coming down the pipe. And
Sure.
yeah. And for those of you that are listening, if you want to see one of those demonstrations, you know how to contact us. Just check us out on the website, right?
Yep. And yeah, thanks for having me, Hunter. I'm glad to talk more. And if you if you want another podcast, so like talking just about the container deep dive, I'm there.
It sounds like a plan, buddy. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right.
Take care, Bala. Thank you. All right. Great. Thanks again, Bala, for your time. It was a really wonderful conversation. We really appreciate you coming on and look forward to having you back again soon. And then lastly, everybody, thanks again for joining and watching today. If you're looking for where you can find product information about your Aptia products, Aptio customers can go into the Help Center, is accessible in their product line there, and basically just through the front door application be able to access the What's New section in the Help Center for the products, and that'll give a roll-up of the latest releases for that product in Aptio's platforms. So again, thanks again for joining us today. My name's Hunter Willis. We'll see you next month on the feature. Everybody take